The question that is asked to me is, how can we, the people, infuse a learning culture in the fabric of South African society? Now, we listened to previous speakers and we heard that there are massive changes waiting ahead of us. And we also know that we are going to have to do something about it, as Justin so eloquently stated. Now, perhaps we should first just start by defining, what does the word learning mean? If we say that you are here to learn something today, it means we need to do what? It's not just about gaining information, but it's actually about taking this information, applying it to my life so that my behavior changes. Justin said that we got to take a call to action. Information without application means nothing. So in terms of we the people, South Africa is a democracy who wants to go forward. We can look at all the plans that we need to follow. But at the end of the day, it's going to be essential that you and I have to do something about it, that we have to take this information and apply it to our lives. Now, if we want to be competitive in the future, we the people need to develop competence to outthink, to outlearn, and to outcreate our competition. Because these are the main functions of your brain. It is to think, to learn, and to create. This is what defines us as Homo sapiens. But this is a competence that we need to develop. Now, if we look at learning per se, the most powerful form of learning for us as individuals is learning through the example that is set to us. Or we also call it imitative learning. So in South Africa, we had Mandela, and his title is Father of the Nation. And why is that? Because he has set an example, a powerful example of actually what continuous real-life learning is all about in order to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. In other words, we are going to continuously have to learn. But today, as a person who specializes in the ability of learning, I'm going to take some time to just explain to you, when we talk about learning, it's not just this weird process happening in our brain. It is a biochemical process. And if we understand this process, it will also assist us in taking appropriate charge. Now, when we look at learning in the first place, it is a biochemical process in our brain. And when we look at the biochemical process, it means there are two things that this actually entails. Your brain works electrochemically. So the first thing is your brain produces 20 to 25 watts of electricity. And that electricity comes from the food you eat, the water you drink, and the oxygen that you breathe. Now, you therefore generate electricity, and maybe the best way to illustrate this is I've got a little energy ball here today. This little energy ball has got two poles, and it's got a battery inside, but the moment if the two poles are connected, there's a flow of energy. And this just illustrates that our bodies conduct electricity, but we also generate electricity. So we need to, the analogy I want to use is just like I take a stone and I drop it into the water and it has this ripple effect. So you produce energy and you emanate this energy into the world. And people feel your energy without you saying a word. Your subconscious mind will register the electricity of the people around you. I'm often reminded when I ask people who had the privilege of meeting Nelson Mandela, I ask them, tell me about that. How was that for you? And people's body language immediately changes. Oh, it was so wonderful. He's such a gentle person, such a humorous person. You always feel better about yourself when you're in his presence. All beautiful things. Because this man radiated constructiveness, and people could feel it. They could feel that his words was not just mere words, but actually the energy complemented the words. What do you think people experienced when they connected with Hitler? Do you think the same type of energy? No, no. So what we have to understand is our energy influences other people. And therefore, if we, the people, want to infuse a learning culture in South Africa, it starts with you. And it starts with the energy that you choose to emanate into this world. This is how we make a difference when you make a choice to start radiating positivity, constructiveness, love, acceptance, goodness, kindness into this world. So you and I can choose to today make a huge difference. But learning is also a chemical process, not just an electrical process. So we transmit messages from one cell to another. And perhaps another way of illustrating this, can I just ask this lady here, can you just quickly come stand here with me? I just want to show you something. How our energy fields influence the energy fields of other people. Just put your hand there on that silver. Now nothing is happening. The moment that I touch a hand and the electrical circuit is completed, there's a flow of energy. Will you just come stand here quickly with us also, please? Now hold my hand, take hands there, and put your hand here. Break hand, just break up there, touch again. Thank you. So this just illustrates my energy fields influence your energy fields all the time. So we can't say we don't make a difference. You make a difference there where you are sitting today, and the energy that you are radiating is already making that difference. So you just need to make a choice to become part of the solution for us, for we the people. Do whatever you find your hand finds to do something positive, something constructive. You become involved, you take action, you're already contributing to this great nation. But everything is not just about the electricity, it's also about chemicals. When people laugh, it makes you feel good because you produce a chemical called serotonin that strengthens your immune system. It makes you feel good. But also when I get stressed, I produce chemicals that makes me feel bad. Let me give you an example. If I drive down the street and someone runs right in front of me and I hit the brakes and the car comes to a standstill, what do I feel in my legs? Pins and needles. What are the names of those pins and needles? 3 chemicals called adrenaline, morphine, and cortisol. But these chemicals are inhibiting chemicals, because if I got hurt in that accident for a half an hour to an hour, maybe I won't feel the pain or feel less pain, because the morphine subdues the electrical message, the pain message. Or it may even block it so you don't feel it. So it's an inhibiting chemical. The morphine is the name of the stress hormone. So we have some chemicals that inhibit electrical transmission and therefore also learning. And if we look at these chemicals, they block electrical transmission, but the body looks at it as bad fuel. Why? Because those chemicals also weaken your immune system and drain your energy systems. So a negative mindset and fearful emotions directly impact your immune system and your energy systems. So what I'm saying is this fuel is not conducive for learning or for thinking. We the people will not be in a position to outthink, outlearn, outcreate as long as these chemicals run our mind. That means as long as we stay negative and pessimistic and critical, we're going to go nowhere as a nation. But if we follow the example of Madiba, being constructive despite massive challenges, we can achieve our goals. So we the people need to start thinking about what is my contribution towards this great nation. And I truly want to suggest this morning that we should look at our own mindsets, because the good news is the other part of you have many chemicals, but 2 categories, the inhibiting ones, but then also the neurotransmitters. The neurotransmitters transmit electrical messages from one cell to another. And that is what we call good fuel to the body. Why? Because it gives you energy, and it also strengthens the immune system. And this is as easy as to choose to be positive, constructive, kind, nice to people. Choose to be positive. even when my environment is very negative. When I make this choice, there's a biochemical change. You can make a huge difference in your life, but also your choice will influence other people. But if we look at this process a little bit further and we look at the brain, and we cut the brain open, you will see that your brain consists of a whitish and grayish substance here called the white and gray matter. So as you are sitting here listening to me today, inside the gray and white matters of your brain cells are connecting with each other through things we call dendrites. In other words, just like a tree have roots, your brain cells grow things called dendrites. These dendrites physically connect with each other and a pathway is established. And when this pathway is reinforced, it means your behavior becomes permanent, and then when it becomes permanent, it means it's now automatic behavior. Let me give you an example. When you learn to drive a motor car, a neuron pathway is established in the white and gray matters of your brain. Now you drive the motor car every day, so you reinforce the pathway. And until this pathway becomes a permanent pathway. For those of you who had a manual motor car and drove here this morning, you didn't consciously say, I'm in 4th gear, I need to shift over to 5th gear. You just did it automatically because you've reinforced this skill, this behavior so many times that you now actually do this automatically. Now that's what we have to understand. Constructiveness and positivity is something that can become automatic behavior. But you're going to have to work hard at it. You're going to have to reinforce this many, many times a day. Positive thinking and being constructive is not just, I was born like this. There's no scientific proof that positive thinking is a genetic thing. It is a choice. And it is a choice between 3,000 to 6,000 times a day to choose to be positive, to choose to focus on the solution despite the problem that I'm experiencing. Times 365 days of the year, times the rest of your life. It is hard work. If it was easy, everyone would have been doing it. But it becomes a mental discipline. But we have to understand that when we start exercising this mental discipline, we follow the example that was set to us, we can make a huge difference. Because now we are part of the solution and not part of the problem. So imitative learning is the most powerful form of learning. When you start reinforcing the good stuff in you, it will change your behavior, because when we want to change behavior, we truly want to be learners, it starts with changing your thinking. And also understanding that you are in control of your mental processes. This means we got to take charge of our thinking in order to change our behavior. But when we change our thinking, it changes behavior. When we change our behavior, we can start changing it and aligning it towards the goals we need to achieve. And that's how we, the people, can truly infuse a learning culture into the fabric of South Africa. So I want to conclude my session with a great example, and that is of Mandela, father of the nation. He set the example of being a learner himself, because in his own words, Nelson Mandela said, I was in jail for 27 years, but my mind was never in jail. I never allowed the physical constraints to come control my thinking, my thoughts, my dreams, my sense of humor, my optimism. You can kill me, but you can't take my thoughts. You can't take my dreams unless I choose to give that to you. In Zulu, there's a beautiful statement that says, the example you set speaks so loud, I cannot hear what you say. And therefore, my call to you today for we the people to move into the next 20 years of great democracy is let's take charge of our thinking. Let's choose to be part of the solution. Let's choose to change our own behavior so that we become inspirations to the people around us, and so we can influence the world. And that was an idea that I thought was worth sharing.